All right, buddy, we are streaming. You are live.
Okay, I see people
Oh,
getting
thank you.
in. I see some people getting in. Perfect. Can't believe we don't have 1,000 people on here. What in the world is going on? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing started here. And good morning to you, Harlequin. And I am going to share my screen and get this thing started. Okay, guys, every time that I have a little bit of tidbit of information for you guys, I always want to start out with just, letting you guys understand the actual benefit that you have with the Bank Breezy platform and how our marketing partnership is going to really make things so simple for you. This business is not easy, but it's really simple. And I'm going to talk about that after I show you a few things that's been happening throughout the news cycles in reference to small business people trying to get funding. But first of all, just so you know, this is a 100% online application process. There's no hassles. They make pretty quick decisions there. We actually enhancing this platform even more, and you'll see that over the next weeks. We actually are providing the #1 success tool for all of your clients and your client base, which is working capital. You get a commission, guys, and you get it on a daily basis. We get paid today. You get paid within the next day, except of course on the Giggle funding, as you already know. Your only requirement is just to go get the word out, and there's a lot of ways to do that. We're going to talk about those today. And specifically how I'm going to be out talking to clients on the street here in the next month, and what I'm going to do to create clients. But what I really like about this, and David brought this up the other day on his call, all the renewals that we're getting and the additional lines of credit draws that we're getting a really large number now, and I am excited because that's what we've been waiting for a long time to happen. I was reading all the news articles that I can get my hands on and reading all the information that I get as a lender partner gets information. They send it to us, and as a partnership, they give me more and more information. But I want to read a couple articles about small businesses struggling because the banks are tightening. This is a June 1st, 2023 article, and I've got a couple way more recent, but this is from Payments, and they wrote, as the Wall Street Journal notes in their June 1st, which is a Thursday, report on the phenomenon, merchants are having trouble getting new loans, seeing credit lines cut, they're facing higher borrowing costs, longer waits, and great scrutiny from all these lenders. And they said that the Payments has been following the trend in recent months. And as our latest quarterly study of Main Street small and medium-sized businesses health, by the way, that is us. That's who we're looking for, small and medium-sized businesses. They look at their health, and they found many businesses in a cash crunch. Just a quarter of firms surveyed reported having access to more than 60 days of cash, and that's it. As many as 17% of the firms said they didn't have any cash cushion whatsoever. The situation differs, of course, from industry to industry, but fully 50% of construction companies said they have access to less than 30 days worth of cash. Think about that. While 45% of the firms in the hospitality sector said exactly the same thing. Another article out of Forbes says small businesses looking for funding are having a difficult time securing it from big banks. And this is a recent article here. We have seen it for more than a year. Big banks always had deposit money on hand. They always thought of it as permanent cheap capital. Now the interest rates are higher. Further, the branch systems that the big banks have built are so expensive to maintain, and I expect that they will shrink. banking has increasingly gone digital, especially after the post, COVID, and it's not going to go back. And it's just becoming more and more costly to have a brick and mortar building. Therefore, banks are really tightening up on what little bit of cash that they feel like they have. I mean, we think it's a lot of cash, but the regulations require them to have so much every dollar they put out. And then finally, here's an article from 2023 from Yahoo Finance. Banks tightened their lending standards for businesses and households in the second quarter, and they expect to continue this for the rest of 2023, according to a survey of loan officers conducted by the Federal Reserve. The bank officers cited a variety of reasons for tightening, including an uncertain economic outlook, deteriorating credit quality of their loan portfolios, and concerns about bank funding costs as well as deposit flows. Things are not getting any better out there. We are needed more now than we have ever been. And there are a lot of ways to go out and create clients. And I've heard that it's tough to get out there and knock on doors because you don't like to be rejected. But honestly, I don't care what you're doing in life. If you're building an agency from the ground up, you're going to have to go meet the people that are in your community, the small business people. They don't know you there unless, David talks about all the time. If you're in the real estate business, nobody can give you their deal if they don't know you're in the real estate. And we all know the best way to create leads is through your warm market businesses that you're already doing business with. And that when this recruiting app is turned on, and I know you guys are going to start recruiting like crazy, you're going to see a huge fresh batch of warm market leads that your organization is going to have. What you got to do is you got to work with your organization. It doesn't do any good to have 5,000 and 10,000 people in your organization if you're not working with them, if you're not drilling down and looking for the person that wants to go out and do this business and work it. Then you're doing yourself an injustice. I've built tens of thousands deep in the MLM industry. What I had to do is I had to find out who that person was. I don't care if they 1 level down or 100 levels down. If that person wants to be successful, I need to spend my time with that person. And of course, the second best lead is really meet, greet, and inform. And I'm going to talk about that in just a couple minutes. And then there are other ways, whether it's you guys are doing online marketing, or if you're not joining a chamber or a BNI. I mean, there's a BNI that's not even 300 yards from me. I'm going to start going to that. I don't have time, but I'm going to make the time because I have to make that time if I want personal client. And so there's a lot of stuff that's available to you. These Connect cards, I know that, I mean, most of you aren't even ordering, and I get it, but I'm ordering. I have tons of them. I can show you this office. If I sweep the computer around and you were looking at my entire office, you'd see them everywhere because I've got every type and a bunch of them. And I am going to be going out in November 3 days a week for 2 straight weeks. And myself and my local team members that I'm recruiting, we're going to go knock on doors. I'm going to show them how simple it is. I'm not going to try to knock on doors 4 or 5. It's going to be 1 at a time. And we're going to knock on doors all day long. I'm going to do that. I enjoy doing that because I'm not selling anything. I'm putting information out there. I see all the time. I see bankers coming to different functions and just walking into my business and say, hey, I just want to introduce myself. We'd love to bank. If you ever need anything from us, like a mortgage or whatever, let me know, blah, blah, blah. Well, they're doing what I'm going to go do. And I would encourage all of you team leaders to go out there and do it and say, well, I don't have time. Well, then you don't have time to make big bucks. I need to go make some big bucks doing this so I can show you that it works. And you know what? Here are my 10 best industries I'm going to go look for. Construction, that includes all plumbers, electricians, pavers, home builders, restaurants that are not national chains. By the way, I set up a national chain in the pizza sector. And they've got 30 some locations. They're going to be doubling that soon. And I got them all on the cash discount program. Any kind of retail, I'm going to look for brick and mortar buildings with retail that are not national chains. medical, which includes doctors, dentists, chiropractors. I'm probably not going to stay away from doctors' offices because getting past the gatekeeper is just going to take too much time. But I can walk into a chiropractor, a veterinarian, those guys, and I can leave the information. I promise you, they need money. If not today, they're going to need it in the next couple of months. Anything in manufacturing, I see a facility around, I'm gonna walk in, I'm gonna try to find if I can see who that plant manager is or owner. Grocery stores that are not part of a chain, any kind of landscaping company, along with childcare, private schools, nail and beauty salons, and e-commerce. E-commerce is something that is a good one, but I'm not gonna be able to find e-commerce out and about. But I'm going to look for them online and get the information to them. So where do I find these clients? Remember, 7 out of 10 small businesses going to need working capital within the next 3 to 6 months. 4 out of 10 need it today. These are facts. If you are simply not going to work your current warm market and you're not going to use Breezy Connect cards to meet and greet and inform, then here are a few ways to find new clients that I think, if you're not willing to do what I'm getting ready to go do, and I'm very busy, but I'm not too busy to go make $10,000. I'm going to go knock on the doors and do this now. But if you don't want to do all that, I'm going to give you a couple other ways. Number one is you want to become an online marketing expert, then there's a lot of stuff you got to understand. So you can become an expert over time, but you're going to need to go out and learn all the steps. I would go look up a marketing group, join it. I'm not talking about pay money or anything, but there's a lot of ways you can be taught how to be a really expert online marketer. Strategy number 2, I've started this week, and I'm going to stick with it. Is I see so many mailers that come through. Every single week I get the Mint magazine and I get Valpak. Just get them. I'm gonna start texting them. I'm gonna start emailing them. I'm gonna start calling them, and I'm gonna do the meet, greet, and inform with them. If you tell me that you can't find people to talk to, and that means you're not even opening this Valpak. Heck, even Valpak knows that it's valuable to somebody if they just open it, and so you'll open it. They put $100 check in one out of every batch that they send out. And you don't know if that $100 is going to be yours. That's an incentive to open it up. But this is one way to go find clients if you just don't want to get out of your chair. I always tell people your success is really a picnic problem. And people say, well, what does that mean? Well, it means person in chair, not in computer. It's not the computer's problem because you're sitting in front of it all day. It's the person in that chair that won't take the time to do what I'm getting ready to do right here. And then number 3, I'm going to do Master's way. And he, listen, I wish he lived here and Nick, and they didn't have Argentina where they got to call all over the place. I wish they could knock on the doors. But what they do when they're here, and they were very successful doing it, they create a lot of leads, and not just the people they talk to, guys. They created a way to get referrals. I listen to them in here, and I'm telling you, they're good, but they sound like, I'm not. When they call these people, it's almost like they've known these people for 40 years. I'm gonna go park in the Lowe's or Home Depot parking lot myself during those days that I'm out. I'm gonna pass out these cards. I'm looking for all these different locations of businesses and listen, if you're out there and you're afraid to go do what Matt and them do and go speak to people out in the parking lots, just take your phone with you and take pictures and then email them and call them and that sort of thing. You just got to get that fear out of the way so that you can go make some money. David, that is everything I have got. I'm going to stop sharing. And I mean, I don't know how much this has helped anybody, but I'm just telling you, if you don't go meet the people, if the people aren't going to come where you are, you got to go to where the people are. And I'm talking about business owners. If you're not going to join a BNI, if you're not going to go join a chamber, if you're not going to go knock on doors, then you're going to have to find another way to be successful, or you're not going to be successful. And that goes for everything. It doesn't go for just funding. If you're going to sit in your chair and you can get on this call, but you're never going to act on anything, then you're never going to be successful. It doesn't matter if it's funding or merchant services or healthcare, what, it doesn't matter what it is. You're going to have to eventually talk to people. So any questions, David, or anything?
Anyone have a question? You can go ahead and use your virtual hand raise. And again, just out of respect for Wade's time and for our client's time, we'll keep it to questions regarding what he went over today or regarding funding. Any other service questions can be directed to support@davidallencapital.com. And it looks like Jimmy has a question. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Cordell. I was just wondering if this would be a good strategy or not. Talking to bankers, because obviously there's a lot of businesses that don't qualify for they're getting a loan from the bank. Would talking to them about sending me their turn downs, would that be a good strategy? And also, I also know of some non-bank lenders that don't do working capital. Would that be would those two types of categories be good for good way to prospect?
Hey, great questions. I have called on bankers, and what I've found is that they're very conflicted about giving you the turn downs, and the reason is because their bank won't always agree to that, and they certainly won't be able to earn a commission in most cases. So I think bankers is a hard way to go. But you just touched on something I love, and that's other types of lending. I would suggest to you, if you guys could find a quadrant leader or someone who's big time in the SBA loans and work, because most of those are turned down. I mean, I hear a lot of people doing SBA and talking to me, we're going to do this. Well, 97% of them get turned down. So if you can find somebody that's in that industry and actually gets a lot of those requests, that's a person you want to talk to, and so you can get all those turn downs. And another thing, Jimmy, if you can just find CPAs in your local area, people that have a client base like that, CPAs are great, but you don't need to go to these large CPA groups. You need to go to the onesies and twosies, the small ones. And that's why I tell everybody, hey, there's a lot of small towns. There's, I think, 56 counties in the state of South Carolina, and most of them are rural. They never see a person like you or me knocking on their door and talking to them. It doesn't happen. And if you are going to go do that, then you're going to have to dress like I'm dressed. Don't wear a coat and tie, and just walk in and introduce yourself, and don't try to sell anything. And you'd be amazed what can happen. I've watched both Nick and Matt become incredibly successful doing that. I know that if they're on here, they would tell you the same thing. But no, Matt doesn't care about who, and neither does Nick. They'll talk to anybody about anything, and you got to be able to do that. And if you're worried about messing up, that's why that's why I have all these cards. I got them all, and I don't go anywhere without them. I scratch my head that more of them weren't purchased or aren't being purchased, but I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I'm blue in the face talking about it. I just know that works. And I'm going to go prove it out in the month of November. And I'm going to give you guys real results of what happened, whether they're good or bad. But I don't expect bad results, because I'm going to knock on doors and talk to people and introduce themselves to me. And hopefully I do this in front of these local agents that I'm putting on. And I got a couple now that I've promised to go out with. I'm going to do that. So you'll get the rundown. All right. I don't see any more questions. David, you got any comments or not? Or you may already be busy. If not, then I really appreciate you guys getting on today. And y'all have a blessed weekend, and we'll talk next week.